Hello, welcome to the self-learning platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we are going to start Unit 4, Democratization and Changing Nature of Indian Society. And our topic is People's Movements as Reflection of Democracy and Social Change. The 1970s represents a watershed development. Indira Gandhi was attempting to strengthen the popular base of the state by a series of measures like bank nationalization, abolition of privy purses, and rationalization of insurance. Policies targeting specific groups like SC, STs, rural poor, and workers were also made with the same objective. Indira Gandhi appealed directly to the vast masses of the rural and the urban poor, whose conditions had not improved even after 3 decades of independence. The appeal to this group and the slogan of Garibi Hatao translated into electoral victory for the Congress party led by Indira Gandhi in 1971. General election and the assembly election of 1972. By the beginning of the 1973, Indira Gandhi started to decline. People's expectations had remained unfulfilled. The policies of the government had failed to make dent in the rural or urban poverty. The Congress party was increasingly seen not as a party which was interested in radical social change, but as a party endorsing and reinforcing inequality. The country was faced with myriad problems like price rise, industrial stagnation, continuous failure of monsoons, and large scale unemployment. Agitations and protests were the order of the day. Poor peasant movements were going on in different parts of the country against the oppression of the landlords. Firstly, Gujarat and then Bihar became theaters of popular movements yearning for change. Jayaprakash Narayan, popularly known as JP, came out of political oblivion to lead the Bihar movement and gave a call for total revolution. Very soon he took the movement outside Bihar. This movement received support from student, middle classes, and a section of the intelligentsia. It also got support from almost all the non-left parties who had failed to defeat the Congress party in the 1971 election. Ghanshyam Shah refuses to accept this movement as a revolution because it did not have any revolutionary ideology, cadre, or organizational network to implement its agenda. The Janta government's attempt to implement 25% reservation for the backward classes met with stiff resistance from the upper caste. This issue polarized the backwards and the forwards throughout the state. The backward caste movement grew stronger in the state by forging alliance with poor peasants among Rajputs, dual caste, and Muslims. This group supported the Janta Dal, which outed Congress I at a national level in 1989 and in the state assembly emerged as a single largest party in 1990. The defeat of the Congress I by the Janata Dal led by VP Singh at the center in 1989 and several states in 1990 marked the disintegration of long established pattern of mobilization in the northern India and also marshalling out the cooperation among the disadvantaged group. It had become possible because of an alignment between Rajput and relatively more prosperous backward castes like Yadvas, Jat, and Kurmis and other backward castes. They were also supported by Muslim, traditionally a vote bank for the Congress party. The 1990s have witnessed a participatory upsurge among the disadvantaged section of the society. Before the 1970s, the urban participation used to be higher than the rural participation. But now rural participation has overtaken urban participation. There has been tremendous rise in the participation of women in Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. This period has also registered a definite upswing in the electoral participation in the tribals. The Dalit participation is higher in UP than in Bihar, MP and Rajasthan. Yogendra Yadav is of the opinion that perhaps India is the only country where the participation of the disadvantaged section has overtaken that of the privileged section. Yadav is of the view that this upsurge in electoral participation does not pose a threat to democratic system in India because there is no sign of widespread erosion in the legitimacy of the system or mounting frustration among the participation. This is not in agreement with SP Huntington theory, which looks at excessive participation in absence of early institutionalization as a recipe for revolution of rising frustration and eventual collapse of democracy. Now, the next point is backward classes and Dalits' challenge to the dominance of upper castes. The introduction of the universal adult franchise, periodic elections of the democratic consciousness led to forward caste dominance being challenged by first the middle caste and then by Dalits. Capturing power of by the OBCs and the Dalit appears to be a pinnacle for the inequalities of status and income inbuilt into the caste system. Lalu Yadav came to power by giving the slogan Smash the Upper Caste. The prime concern of leaders from these groups is gaining government positions. Similarly, the BSP used slogans like मत हमारा राज तुम्हारा नहीं चलेगा और वोट length PM CM accession to. They do not have faith in reforms. They aim at achieving social change not through social reforms but by share in political and administrative power. The Dalits and the other backward castes are by no means natural allies except for the fact that both these groups have been the victims of upper caste dominance and they stand to gain from the decline of the dominance. Between them, they share a relationship of enormously doubt and suspicion. There are instances of atrocities on Dalit in many parts of the country by people belonging to other backward caste over question of wages, use of water from tank or wells, or other tribal matters. Now the point is state democracy and change. In the north, more particularly in the states of UP and Bihar, state machinery, police, block development officer, village level workers, and leadership of local Panchayati Raj institutions were biased in favor of the ruler rich. According to Ghanshyam Shah, there existed a fraternization between ruler rich and bureaucracy. This was because most of the bureaucracy came from the same section of the society. The leadership of the political parties was also in hands of the same section of the society. They sent most of the MPs and MLAs to national parliament and state assemblies. The panchayat leadership also used to be in the hands of people from the same section of society. All this led to funds for rural development being cornered by the well of the sections of society because upper caste dominated political system, bureaucracy and panchayati raj institutions did not show necessary concern and commitment to the needs of the poor. The whole picture seems to have changed now. We will see that the state democracy and change how was affected by caste. The rise of the other backward caste movement and Dalit movement has challenged the upper caste dominance. The complexion of national parliament and state assemblies has changed with more and more MPs and MLAs from these sections. The demand to implement reservation policy was not just for some jobs to unemployed youth from these sections of society, but also for the crucial role they play in delivery of public funds. When Mayawati became chief minister, she replaced upper caste officials holding key posts like chief secretary, CM's private secretary with scheduled caste officers. The same thing happened in Bihar with Lalu Yadav's rise in power, where the upper caste officers were replaced by those belonging to OBCs. The reservation of seats in the Panchayati Raj institutions for SC and ST and women provided by 73rd Amendment can work as a bulwark against these organizations being manipulated for the benefit of rural rich only. Among the important programs launched by Mayawati during the chief ministership was Ambedkar Village Development Scheme provided development funds to 15,000 Ambedkar villages with 30% Dalit population. But the Dalit and backward class assertion is concentrating more on status and dignity and less on economic inequalities. Erecting status of non-Brahmin leaders like Jyotiba Phule, Periyar, Ramaswamy, Naikar, Ambedkar and Sahu Maharaj and installation of Ambedkar statues in every village and town were meant for fighting upper caste hegemony and boosting the status of the Dalits. The Rashtriya Janata Dal RJD government in Bihar renamed many universities after non upper caste leaders in the similar way. But these leaders have failed to address themselves to the problems of structural inequality. Land reforms is not on their agenda. They have also failed to address themselves to the economic and extra economic exploitation of the weaker section. The track record of the RJD government is even worse in this regard. It has been treating the Naxalite movement as purely a law and order problem. This is also true about the approach of TDP government towards PWG movement in Andhra Pradesh. They fail to realize that most of the issues raised by them can be seen as demand for better wages, dignity, and land reforms. The state seems to be shying away from its commitment to economic justice. In Tamil Nadu, the politics of the accommodation followed by the Dravida Munatra Kadgam has not caused much disturbance, although the level of reservation has risen to 60%, including 15% for scheduled caste. The government provided opportunities for people from the lower caste in government jobs. The upper caste excluded from government jobs had no reason to sulk because they were encouraged to privately founded engineering and medical colleges. These institutions were sustained by capitation fees charged from the students and were affiliated with state universities. This strategy, together with social welfare measures for weaker sections of society, stabilized the support for the government without threatening the interest of landed upper caste or business classes. Kerala had benefited from the public policies directed to whole population. This state has witnessed general improvement in life expectancy, literacy, and above all, the dignity of Dalits. It is mainly due to the general welfare policies of the state. On the whole, in South India, reservation for backward class and expenditure on social welfare programs sustained the politics of accommodation because it offered small number of disadvantaged castes to join the urban middle class by providing them opportunities to join politics and getting into government jobs. Now let us see state democracy and change in respect of gender. Democratic changes that have taken place in the status of women since independence. The definition promised complete equality to women. Women like men also got right to vote. B.R. Ambedkar, the law minister after independence, submitted a bill that raised the age of consent and marriage, upheld monogamy, gave women right to divorce, maintenance, and inheritance, and treated dowry as sridhan or women's property. This will face stiff opposition from the conservative section of society. The bill had to be postponed because of this. Finally, important sections of a bill got passed in four separate acts. The Hindu Marriage Act, the Hindu Succession Act, the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act, and the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. The extension of the legal rights to Hindu women was not sufficient, but it was definitely a bold step. This can be gauged from the stiff opposition faced by the government while extending the same legal rights to women from the other religious communities. In 1985, the Supreme Court granted a pittance to Slip Banu, a divorced Muslim woman. The conservatives among Muslim community created so much of furor in the name of interference in the Muslim personal law that Rajiv Gandhi's government wilted and introduced a bill in the parliament to negate the Supreme Court's judgment. Some legal rights have been exercised even as some have remained on paper. The right to vote has been taken seriously by women even in rural areas. Many times they take free decision independent of their husband about whom to vote. The 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts have provided for reservation of 33% seats in local self-government institutions, both urban and local, for women. It has played an important role in correcting gender bias in our political and social life. But the promises to reserve seats in parliament have not been met yet. Kerala has achieved 86% adult literacy rate among women. After Kerala, Himachal Pradesh and Tamil Nadu have achieved remarkable success in female literacy. The population of rural female aged 12 to 14 who have never been to any school is one half in India as a whole, about two-thirds in UP, MP, and Bihar, and as high as 82% in Rajasthan. Here we want to wind up today's lecture. Thank you so much for your attention.